Good morning, everybody. This is Sergio and Laura
Good morning, everyone.
from Quest Travel Adventures. We'd like to thank you for joining us on our monthly webinar. Last month, we covered the great rivers of Europe with scenic river cruises and a little bit of the Eclipse, which is a fabulous ship as well, which we are looking forward to that to start sailing. And I think that's going to be our next webinar. What do you think?
Love it. Let's do it.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Perfect. But today we want to concentrate on the magical island of Tenerife. Now, many of you might not even know where Tenerife is, and you're not alone. Tenerife is a Spanish island located on the southwest coast of Spain, and it is just an hour from Casablanca, from Morocco, 2.5-hour flight from Madrid, and a 4-hour flight from London. It is a huge tourist destination for the European markets, and I think the American market is missing out a little bit on by not visiting the island. It is truly magical. I like to call it the Hawaii of the Atlantic. Now, since it is part of Spain, it is in the European Union. You have all the comforts that you're accustomed to having while you visit Europe or while you visit, the United States with modern infrastructure. The picture here that you see is actually the tram car that is in the capital of Santa Cruz. It connects 2 or 3 of the cities, modern highways. It is absolutely a modern destination. I guess I'm like, yeah. Good morning, everybody. This is Sergio and Laura
Good morning.
from Quest Travel Adventures. We would like to thank you for joining us on our Tenerife webinar. Now, you may be wondering, what is Tenerife and where is Tenerife? And we're going to cover all of that today, and we'll explain to you why we think you should visit the island of Tenerife. We're going to cover today the where, the what, the how, and we'll give you our contact information, which you guys probably already have, but we will cover all of that in this webinar. I want you guys to close your eyes for a minute and just think of what your perfect happy place will be. And I want you to open them and look at this picture. This is the Valle de la Orotava, which is on the northern end of the island, with Mount Teide, the crown jewel of the island, which we'll get into much more later. And this is just a magnificent view from the north coast. Imagine you spent the day on the top of Spain, which is the tallest peak in Spain is Mount Teide, hiking through the lunar-like terrain, and you came down and you're at a vineyard having yourself a glass of wine with this magnificent view. So most of the vineyards are located on the north end of the island, and they have a similar view to this one. Absolutely gorgeous. So you may be wondering, where is this magical place? It is in the middle of the Atlantic off the coast of Morocco. It is southwest of Spain. It is Spanish territory. It's just a short 2.5-hour flight, 3 hours from mainland Spain, 4 hours from London. And if and when we do get a nonstop flight, it'll just be about a 6-hour flight from the New York City airports. It is the largest of the Canary Islands, and I like to say it takes the best of the other 6 and puts it on one. Now, because it is part of the European Union, it is Spanish territory, I want to just point out that it is very modern and it has all the infrastructure that you have come accustomed to while traveling in Europe and the United States. So, for example, what you see here is actually the tram in the capital of Santa Cruz. It connects Santa Cruz to La Laguna, the modern bus systems, and also the great roadways of Tenerife. There is a very modern highway, well lit, good signage. In addition to its transportation infrastructure, it also has great medical facilities at your disposal as well. God forbid something happens. But we don't expect anything to happen, of course. Now, you're wondering, okay, so I figured out how to get there. You've whet my appetite, and where am I going to stay? So Tenerife is home to some of the world's best hotel chains. I mean, from our premier hotel, the Ritz-Carlton, we have the Sheraton, the Grand Malia, Iberostars, the Vinci Selección hotels, the H10s, which those you might be familiar with from traveling other parts of Spain. But just know that there is world-class accommodations on this island offering you the best amenities to really enjoy your vacation. Like, for example, this is a view from one of the hotels in the south end of the island. Imagine that sunset, having a glass of wine on your balcony of your room with that sunset. And beyond the clouds, you can barely see it in this picture, but is the neighboring island of La Gomera. It is absolutely stunning. I mean, the Hotel Botanico, which is a leading hotel of the world, has some great gardens. This is in the north end of the island. And then imagine just relaxing in a lounge chair in these tropical gardens. And not to mention that these five-star hotels also have some great spa amenities. There is thermal pools. You can get a great treatment by licensed massage therapists. Wonderful accommodations offering great amenities at their properties. For example, the spa. We do want to introduce Tenerife's newest hotel. It is the Hard Rock Hotel Tenerife. It is truly a luxurious hotel and really offers its visitors a lot. It has, it's a larger resort with 624 rooms, 6 bars, 6 restaurants, 7 pools, concert arena, body rock spa, and it is beachfront. What I really like about the Hard Rock Hotel is, although it might have a connotation of, the rock star experience and being very loud, well, it's not the case with this particular hotel. This hotel opened in the middle of a town, so the noise level cannot be that high, and it really offers an upscale experience without all of the, how should I put this, the hoopla that exists around the Hard Rock. It really, really is one of the nicest hotels on the island. So what is there to do there? So Tenerife is known as the island of eternal spring. It is 75 to 80 degrees all year round. It is truly comfortable to be there. And it also has some great beaches. So that weather does lend itself to enjoy your day by the seaside. The north end of the island has some great black sand beaches. The south end of the island actually has some golden sand beaches, which a little fun note is actually sand brought in from the Sahara to create these beaches. Very swimmable beaches. They built jettyways, so you don't have to worry about going with the kids. The beaches are very swimmable. Now, the crown jewel, as I mentioned earlier, Mount Teide. Mount Teide is absolutely stunning. And some of you may know me out there from our conversations, and I'm usually, give me a drink by the beach under a palm tree, and I am happy as a clam. The first time I went to Mount Teide, I actually just fell in love. I was taken away by its absolute beauty. The picture that you see here is actually the shadow cast by Mount Teide at sunset. So Mount Teide is about 12,200 feet in the air, so you're above cloud level. It's absolutely amazing. And the terrain there actually is, like I said earlier, lunar-like. It is home to NASA and the European Space Agency's solar observatory systems. Another factoid, they actually tested the rover that we sent up to Mars on Mount Teide. Because Mount Teide is your elevation, because it's in the middle of the Atlantic, and Mount Teide sits above cloud level, it is a really good place to do stargazing, considered by some the second best in the world. So one of the best things to do on the island is you actually get picked up at your hotel, you're brought up to Mount Teide, you have sunset on top of Mount Teide, and then you come down the cable car and you have dinner under the stars with an astronomer guide. And then you're brought back down to your hotel. Absolutely an experience not to be missed should you visit the island of Tenerife. And for your nature lovers out there, Mount Teide or Tenerife in general, is home to 400 endemic flora and fauna. And this plant here that you see here actually grows out of this desert-like terrain. They come into bloom in the springtime, so right now would be a perfect time to go and see these plants. So you've laid out by the beach for one day. You went up to Mount Teide. You did the stargazing. What else are you going to do on this island? Well, there is also the #1 water park in the world, according to TripAdvisor, both 2015 and 16. Siam Park is actually located on this island. It is absolutely one of the best experiences. When you go there, you're going to notice how clean the water park is. Another thing that you can do at CM Park is you can rent out a cabana in the middle of their tropical gardens with a butler service. So if you really want to experience the theme park, but you and your partner might want to relax in the sun, you can stay at the cabana while the kids go out and play on the slides. Absolutely great place. So another thing to do is to go whale and dolphin watching. So guaranteed 20 minutes off the south coast of Tenerife. There are non-migratory pilot whales and dolphins in the Strait of Tenerife. So you can go out and actually experience whale watching. There's no seasonality to it. So in other destinations, you have to go during the month of March or something like that. That's not the case in Tenerife. Another experience not to be missed. Now, for your adrenaline seekers, you guys have some great adventure sports to choose from paragliding. So, for example, this flight right here from the Teide National Park, a 45-minute flight down, you're on by the seaside. Absolutely amazing, once-in-a-lifetime experience for those adrenaline seekers. This is also a great place to go cycling. So, for the cyclists out there, because of the varied terrain and you have different elevations, it's great for training. So actually, another factoid is that the Tour de France competitors actually train in Tenerife in the winter months because, again, the island of eternal spring, have it be high noon in January or high noon in August, it's going to be the exact same temperature. Very comfortable for cycling. And in this picture, in addition to the cyclist, I want you to see the terrain in the background. Doesn't that remind you a little bit of Hawaii's Big Island? It's absolutely amazing. Now, another great experience not to be missed on the island of Tenerife is actually doing ocean kayaking. Ocean kayaking is usually done in this area called Los Gigantes, which are these cliffs that jet up out of the ocean about 3,000 feet. And you go with a guide, of course, and you can go paddleboarding, ocean kayaking. It's a really fun day in the sun and to be on the water. Now, for the people that like to go hiking, this is also a great place. So the north end of the island is very lush, tropical, and green. And there's the Anaga Mountains. And the Anaga Mountains is a rugged coastline with some great vegetation to go on hiking, well-marked trails. For example, you have this picture here of the photographer, and this is to scale with those Jurassic-like ferns. Absolutely amazing place to not only hike, but also to take some amazing pictures as well. Now, there's also some golf on the island, actually a lot of golf. So there's 8 different golf courses on the island, 9 if you count the island of La Gomera, the course in La Gomera. And this is a really unique place to go golf. There's almost all the golf courses, you have ocean views. They were once banana plantations that they've converted into golf courses. Some of them designed by the famous Seve Ballesteros or Donald Steele. So really high caliber golf courses. So for your golf enthusiasts, you can definitely spend the day out on the course. And the arts and culture on the island, there's so much influence on this island. Because of its geographic location, you have influences from North Africa. You have the Spanish influence, obviously, because it is Spanish territory. But also, when the Spanish were colonizing Latin America, on their way back, they would actually stop on the island, and it really influenced their culture. So, for example, Carnival here is one of the biggest deals on the island. So if you visit during the month of March, February, March, depending on when it falls, designers from all around the world actually come and compete for the best Carnival Queen dress. And so it's really, really just a fun time to go. It's a great cultural experience. And if you visit in the summertime, the small villages open up and you're invited to participate by actually renting out the local Canarian garb, and you dress up in the traditional clothing, and you walk around the streets and participate in the parades and all the singing and the dancing, and the kids would absolutely love it. These are called the romerias. And there's some great architecture on the island. We have had clients that just came back and they absolutely love the architecture. This is actually they like to call it the Tenerife Sydney Opera House, but it dubs as their amphitheater, their opera house. They do concerts here. This is in the north end of the island in the capital of Santa Cruz. So as I mentioned, Tenerife is an influence of many cultures, and that is also reflected in their food. So there's some great manchego cheese. Because of the endemic flora and flora on the island, it actually has a really unique tasting honey, which I encourage everybody to taste on the island. And they use this flour, gofio, and it's actually a little anecdotal, but the adults they put the gofio, which is that flour substance that you see there, in the milk, and they say that they tell their kids that is the way they're going to grow up, big and strong. So dining on the island, there's a lot of options from the guanchinches, which are small, locally owned restaurants, serving up the dish of the day. You can enjoy an experience like that by the seaside, taking in the amazing views. But you can also dine at one of the 4 Michelin star restaurants on the island, 2 of which are located right on the Ritz-Carlton property. Here you see a picture of the braised pork, again, an influence from Latin America and mainland Spain. And their fine wines. I mean, for the winos out there, you may be familiar that in the 1900s, phylloxera really hit the vines of Europe. It was a plague that kind of killed off a lot of the growth. And that didn't affect Tenerife. So they really have some old growth in their vines, some exquisite white wines, some great red wines, grown all around the island and produced and bottled. So again, these are just some great views of Mount Teide. I want you to really take a look at Mount Teide. It's an island of contrasts, I like to say, if you were to mix Hawaii's Big Island for its topography, San Diego for its weather, and Cabo San Lucas for its hotel caliber and Spanish flair, you mix it all together, you'll have the island of Tenerife. It is absolutely an amazing place to go to. Now, you may be wondering, how am I going to get there? Well, Quest Travel Adventures is here to help, and we only work with the 5-star hotels on the island, so the Ritz-Carlton, the Sheraton, the Grand Malia. Our packages will include breakfast daily. We can include some meals if you wish, but I encourage you to not do the half-board or the all-inclusive options that may be available on the island, because you're going to find yourself out on the island exploring, and you'll really miss out if you do an all-inclusive. You really want to go explore those local restaurants. We can include private transfers, private guides to do any kind of excursion. For example, that stargazing experience on Mount Teide. We can do that privately with a meal at the Parador. We can include all of that. A wine tasting tour we can include. We're going to be including some water sports very, very soon. So if you want to go jet skiing or ocean kayaking, that's going to be available through Quest very, very soon as well. So if you're already going to Europe, this might be an itinerary that you might want to do. One thing I forgot to mention is that Tenerife is connected to 180 European cities with direct service. So let's say you're going to London or you're going to Spain. Why not add a few days in the warm weather in Tenerife? For example, if you're going in the winter months, you go to Madrid and for the Christmas time, or if you go to Germany for the Christmas markets, why not actually just tack on a few more days and go down to Tenerife. What we suggest in the 4-day itinerary. This will keep you busy visiting the capital of Santa Cruz in La Laguna, which is a UNESCO World Heritage city. You can go to Puerto de la Cruz and do a vineyard visit, a whale watch, and Teide and start doing stargazing. You're going to be really busy on the 4-day, so we really recommend a 7 to 9-day package. You can do everything that you do on the for the 4-day, but then you can actually add in maybe going to CM Park for the water park, or doing a little bit more free time for exploration. But the 9 days is going to really immerse yourself in the island. You can actually go and visit the island of La Gomera for the day. It's a quick ferry ride, 40 minutes, you're there. You can experience the whistling language, which is the indigenous language of the island. Because they're hilly towns, the only way to communicate would actually by whistling, and you can actually go and experience that for yourself. So we are running a promotion that if you book Tenerife, any 7 or 9-day package or longer, which we highly encourage if you really want to go and explore the island, we're offering a $200 per booking, so $100 off per person if you book this by the end of middle of May. Let's just say May 15th. I think that's when the booking is. Sorry, my apologies. I had to look at my notes for that. We are running promotions all the time. This is the one that we're doing now. Really take advantage of that. Now, you have my contact information there. You can contact me directly. Our phone number is 1-800-693-1815, and that goes directly to either myself or to Laura. We really look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions, please reach out. We are here to help, and I hope you decide to choose Tenerife for your next vacation. Thank you for joining us again.